just a huge fan. Guys, he told me he's more nervous meeting Farrell than he was playing in any basketball game. Probably because he's seen the movie Step Brothers so many times, he can recite the entire thing line by line.
Even for a guy who was the Big Ten Player of the Year, a little.
Man, great job there by Barry to slide over and take that charge. Hayes picking up his third foul.
Carolina playing loose at 3, and here's Paige working on Decker, chiseling his way down low. Good shot.
How about that move? That'll help.
Kenny hits the 3. He's got a couple of them. He's got 7. Barry the drive. Hayes is there. Kaminsky knocked it away. And Paige with it. With a hit screen.
And can we just say the reason why Kenny got that wide open 3 is because of the dribble.
A game, we're the highest in the country.
Fouls on Anton Beard, and the substitution, Joel James, replaces Kennedy Meeks for UNC. Paige floater. And Portis rips it down, stripped away by Jackson. Harris tries to get it to Portis, and Portis away to Matt. Paul, step back 3. Paige with the rebound. Now Paige attacks the floater off the mark. Portis the board. Per game, they have 15 tonight.
Mike doesn't look happy.
Turnover by Cat for 2.
They fronted Qualls, but got no help on the weak side because of the motion, had everything all spread out.
Once again, Carolina with a very small lineup. Britt, Barry, Paige, Tokido, and then Hicks. Paige has not been in a good rhythm tonight. That 3 might. And they went for 46 inside.
And 12 turnovers might not sound like a low number, but in a game this fast, with that many guys handling the ball against this team, that's a pretty good number.
Arkansas does not have a field goal in the last 3.5 minutes. Marcus Paige done.
What Tommy Amaker's trying to do is going to help. He went to his biggest team possible.
This is the closest it's been this half after the bucket by Kenyatta Smith and
having to be guarded by Collins.
Yeah, I think you stick with your big guys, especially this early in the game. They're getting the ball into the paint and pounding the glass is sort of like a body blows in a prize fight. It may not work right away, but eventually it will. Beecham with a great block. Yeah.
But they were looking to post feed to August to get them back in rhythm. We'll see if they can continue that.
Thanks, Allison. That basket by August, the first made field goal of the second half for Notre Dame. It's a 4-point game.
Another screen for the screener action for Paige.
He's driving. He's finishing, and he's heading to the line.
This is an older team. Mike Bray has built this program to continually have older players. He needs to be older than his opponents.
Carolina's in the final here in the ACC tournament for the 4th time in the last 5 years, and they might lose it for the 4th time in the last 5 years. Paige lays it in to make it a 10-point game with just 25.8 seconds to go. Paige misses the 3. It's using him in brief stints tonight, 3-4 minutes at a time. Paige with the split and left it just short.
Boy, what a move by Paige.
Your coach and one of his former assistants, Mike Bray, getting ready for the second game tonight. Duke and Notre Dame, they split their regular season matchups. Notre Dame winning a close one in South Bend, and then Duke blew out the Irish by 30 back at Cameron.
But when you go over his efficiency, what he means to his team, he's a big-time player.
Paige off the side of the backboard. And with his third, Shyok sits down as well. Isaiah Wilkins, Justin Anderson back into the game for Virginia. Paige, a little space on the baseline. Skying for the rebound, Anderson. Look ahead.
Lead the league in scoring. Learn that's a great opportunity to boost their numbers.
Only 8 points in the paint in the second half for Louisville. Paige has had the knack for making big plays and clutch shots down the stretch, including the game winner in Chapel Hill against Louisville in the final seconds in early January. The fadeaway. Short. Bryce Johnson, no. Kennedy makes yes. He reached in to strip Aaron Brown. Tokoto has 73 turnovers on the year, which leads their team as well. Digging down toward 2 minutes to go in the first half with Patrick Heckman on the BC bench. North Carolina widening its lead. Paige hits a little floater. And Jim had a couple of empty trips here. Heckman, the turnover the previous possession, missed a three. This time down. Jackson swung it to Berry. The freshman there. Paige bounces to Bryce.
Time you go up to try to block a shot that can open up the offensive glass. That's exactly what it did there. Rotation rebounding has to be there.
So we saw at the end of the Kansas-Oklahoma game. Oklahoma winning that game. Buddy Hield on the follow. Paige. Loose ball rebound to Cook.
Much more on SportsCenter after the game, guys.
And a lot more coming here from Chapel Hill. 7:11 to go. Second half. Duke 62. Carolina 59.
And Duke out-rebounding North Carolina in this game. They've got more offensive rebounds, 13-9. They've out-rebounded them overall.
And a Carolina turnover, and then they give it right back. Duke does. Paige for three. Yes!
Well, great screen by...
The game that they had at Duke. Broke the Blue Devils' 41-game home winning streak. Double overtime loss at Virginia that they played very well. And Eastern Kentucky lost here at home by 28 points in early the second half.
Well, we'll see if North Carolina can get back out to that sizable advantage. We do know that Miami fans like to sometimes bail early when it doesn't look great for their team and conduct interviews outside while the game's still going on.
Doug, we know Miami still very much on the NCAA tournament bubble. How imperative is it that they win this game in terms of the postseason hopes?
It's not a death blow.
Gets it back. Lacey missed a little snowbird. Paige into the corner. Jackson gives it back. He'll reset.
Marcus Paige only took one shot in the first half. And one of the problems with the North Carolina offense, Paige only took one shot. Jackson took 7.
He didn't square it.
He picks up his second foul, but that's a good play.
Here's Paige. Stop, pop, bang.
That'll help. Carolina State, a home win against Duke, a road win against Louisville, a road win against North Carolina. My heavens, they nearly threw it away again.
And this one's almost...
The opportunity you're in Greensboro, please attend. It's awesome every year.
Turned over by Georgia Tech, and the Jackets giveaways here at the start of the second half, proving costly now with the North Carolina lead at 23. And deflected inside, and Paige recovers again, and then sneaks back into the lead.
Step-in threes, things around the basket with blue under their feet.
Paige.
Offensive. We were at Madison in Wisconsin. I don't think Duke could have played better than they played against the Badgers, because it's not like Wisconsin played poorly. Duke played great. And then they had that Christmas break where they weren't able to practice or play much, and they took a little bit of a step. He has been magnificent. He's got 22. He had 22 at Wisconsin. You put a big game in front of that kid, and he's going to respond. I wonder if Tyus Jones even knows he's a freshman. Did anybody let him in on that fact?
Paige in traffic, in trouble. Duke ball. Jones.
I can't ever remember a Pitt team being described as finesse.
No, ever. Paige, not there. Fast pass, too, and he wasn't really ready to corral it as you'd like. 3 blocks already for the Heels. Paige with a teardrop, and the flush from Bryce Johnson.
For ESPN's Game Day, he was a guest on our show, and what a tremendous player he was.
And I think you were one of those who
was so good at the top. I mean, 5 teams in the top 12 in the efficiency ratings. No other conference has more than 1 in the top 12.
Paige a three.
6 to go in the opening half in the rematch. First one, of course, going to North Carolina. Paige was the hero, and he misfires on a three. Meeks had the rebound knocked away, but right to Tokoto. Yep. We don't like to brag, though.
Okay, I don't want to talk about Syracuse now. I want to talk about right here. No more Syracuse. Not enough publicity. The Cuse. All right, here we go right now.
Britt took a look at the shot clock, down to 17.
They want the ball in Paige's hands. Oh, he made a great pass, a little too hard.
Off Hicks.
He had a wide opening in the show they put on against Syracuse. Who's playing really hurt right now without Chris McCullough.
Carolina trying to retake the lead. Simmons in the game up top.
Got to deny. Got to make sure Paige doesn't have the ball.
Paige will fire. Much too strong. Rebound back to Carolina.
Can't give it.
Foul on Marcus Paige was his second. 13 minutes to go. Syracuse by 6, trying to end North Carolina's 5-game winning streak. Orange have led through most of it. Paige for three.
The biggest problem is you look at some of the injured guys, and as we mentioned, Theo Pinson now lost to a broken foot, is the preparation. It's tough to practice when you're that short.
You want to have your first team playing against competitive players who can put some pressure on you. And for right now, this guy with the ball, Marcus Paige, is getting about 20% of the reps in practice.
Can't hit there. Rebound comes free.
Those were 2 consecutive plays that were really tough and require a tremendous amount of energy.
You've been talking about the athleticism of North Carolina. It's not exactly a headline, but what you're talking about is against Kentucky, a game they lost. Paige with a long one, hits it, give him a three. Began to come into crystal clear focus when they lost 3 in a row to New England schools. Wide open jumper Jackson, but tipped back out. And a second effort, new shot clock for the Tar Heels. Lost 3 in a row to Northeastern, Providence, and UMass. Jump pass by Paige is tipped. Nice save there by Jackson. As he went into the stands. Here's Britt. And he'll set it up with 15 to shoot now for North Carolina. Johnson setting the screen for Paige. Off target. And a big rebound. 33-28. Suddenly a much more confident-looking Florida State team on the offensive end.
Well, they've continued to play hard and compete on the defensive end, trying to compete on the glass.
Paige, dipsy-do, that lost it. Off his fingertip.
He's got good hands. He's got good moves around the basket. I think the more conditioned he is, the leaner he is, the more explosive he becomes and the more dangerous he becomes.
Tokoto foot on the line. Back up for Paige, the 6'1 junior from Marion, Iowa. He'll drive it. Denied. Stopped by Florida State. Well, that's Seminole defense that we have come to know. In a kind of 1-point game. Tokoto directing traffic with Booker, not him. Here's Paige. He's looking inside. Hicks up to set a screen. Paige inside. It rolls off the eye, but tipped up and in.
Point that he has at 6'10", should have taken that little free throw jump shot.
Paige on the drive. How about that reverse by Mo?
Way out, target on the three.
Got to get somebody on the backboard. Virginia Tech's got to figure out, and the best way you do that is to make sure you get deep into your offense, because you got to run, you got to execute, run off screens and cut and get people in that paint. Because what we're seeing from Virginia Tech is a lot of out shots, and there's no one on the backboard. No one.
They're going man-to-man here. Good help defense by lost his footing on the way out. Didn't get a clean look. Good hustle by Pinson to keep it alive for North Carolina. Carolina is led by as many as 15 in this game.
Really like it when Virginia Tech plays a little bit more zone. I think they just get outmanned at the end of the possession by North Carolina when they go man-to-man like they are right now. Let's see how good a shot North Carolina gets out of this possession.
Shot clock down to 5. Here is Paige, late in the clock. Tough shot.
Good defense.
I was going to say, great defensive possession for Virginia Tech right there.
Good defense. Best man-to-man defense I've seen. Go all the way to the basket until somebody stops you. Good job. Hill did an excellent job.
pep in the step of the Hokies right now. Playing a little man-to-man and mixed in a lot of zone tonight, too.
One of the few layups we've seen him make tonight.
Yeah. Paige steps over. Hits a three.
Got to get some stops if you're Virginia Tech. Can't just trade baskets to North Carolina.
Paige. Crash in the glass. Hicks is there. All year. He's at 2 tonight, so he's been a little bit trigger happy on the outside.
Togado's leaped in the building. He should be leading the league in rebounding. I mean,
oh man, what an athlete!
Oh man, he should get 10 a game. He needs to get 10 a game. Oh, hit him in the hip.
Yep.
We just talked about getting Abu another touch. This kid, he's not fully hit his stride either. This kid's got a bright future for NC State. Can stick it from the outside and the low post.
Speaking of which, Marcus Paige out at 23.
Kyle Washington, 3 of 6 now, 4 of 7 over the last 3 games from 3. That's a shot he can make, especially from the corners.
Paige, the old school floater, in and out. And it belongs to the Wolfpack.
Step out, switch, gonna let them know what's happening.
Very energetic start for North Carolina. Roy Williams said this week they've got the nicest kids you could ever have, but he wants them to be a little bit meaner, a little bit more intense on the court. You need that against Louisville, and they've had that so far today.
He wants that toughness. They're moving right now in a little matchup zone. They change defenses.
Paige misses the 3, and the rebound down to Jones.
Jones is feeling it. The 2 strong games we talked about in the last 2. Went to the bench a little because of a scenario where he tried to pull off a faster with that flop against Kentucky.
From a junior college player of the year, now a senior in his second year in the rookie team. Paige will penetrate. And here comes, checks in for Shinanu Anuaku. Shot clock now turned off. Paige lost it.
Ball in deep and score. He was kind of silent a little bit in that first half. So the 2 big stars, Paige and Harrell, got to start contributing.
And Harrell's got all kinds of family and friends here, as he did last week at Wake. He's a North Carolina kid. Turnover by Paige.
Johnson doing a good job rebounding here this afternoon, both defensively and offensively. They got to get a screen on the floor for Paige. Either shoot the jumper or drive. I'm losing. I want my star until you got it. Have the ball in his hands. There it is. Got to set a screen for him.
That would have tied it.
Bryce Johnson. Paige certainly be effective with the ball in his hands, and they want a screen to get him the ball.
They do have a timeout. A held ball would give it to Louisville. Keep that in mind.
They want to get the ball in Paige's hands. But watch the missed shot if he would have missed.
He got the switch. Socked off the glass.
Great feed, cutting August.
Marcus Paige to the bucket. And makes his first field goal of the night.
He's been excellent out of the pick and roll the entire year. So expect to see if pick and rolls get him going in the second half.
Good hands by August to slap it away from Meeks in the low post. Marcus Paige dribbled into his own 3, and Meeks went over the back of August. And that's the plate in from out of bounds by North Carolina with a full shot clock.
You know, Sean, don't underestimate the importance of having open looks. I know it sounds elementary, but if you run crisp offense and penetrate and pitch and have open looks, it's amazing what that does for a 3-point percentage.
Another nice offensive rebound by Tokyo. Pinson, perhaps for 6 years, regardless of whether he chooses to pursue baseball or basketball. If he's back to baseball, he'll have to do another deal with the Orioles. We'll wait and see what happens in basketball. After the first missed free throw, he has 18. 1 minute to go. A dandy on our first big Monday of the year. Paige the miss. Tokyo blocked by Connaughton again. They'll start the offense over. Paige dribbles into a crowd. The freshman Berry looking for guidance. Roy Williams holds up a fist. Hasn't been a smooth possession. Can they rescue? With 7 to go. 25 seconds in the game. Paige, a desperation three. Run down by Tokuto.
We've got Paige and Johnson and Tokuto been teammates for a while. Similar thing with the Fighting Irish, right? I mean, you got a couple of guys who have some collective experience together.
Tokuto up high. Paige trying to make a move here. His jump shot will misfire. Meeks collects the board, though. Trying to go up strong. Deflected. Still working underneath and draws the foul.
Yeah. Thornton will get a break. 13-point lead for Carolina. They led by 22 at the half. Led by as many as 23 or 25 in the first half.
Tony Shaver trying to get him under that, give him a little extra minute rest under the 12-minute mark.
Still this zone employed by the Tribe. Paige a three off a screen. Pair of triples. Isaiah Hicks plays with 4 fouls here. And with Meeks out now ill, Mike, big men kind of become a bit of a commodity. And there's Hicks in traffic. Can't score against Sheldon. And knocked out. Here's Thornton.
Platoon system. And he told us that, look, you're playing for 4 minutes, you're coming out. So I want you to play till exhaustion. And what happened by the fourth quarter, we were able to wear teams down. And that's the strength of the platoon. But it's only a strength if you play as hard.
Moving forward with UAB.
I commend the Blazer football team for playing hard, even though they knew the fate of their program might be in peril. To be bowl eligible, win 6 games, that's tremendous for those kids.
Marcus Paige with a nice bucket for Ben Dickinson, his first. Lawson, Raymond Felton, and Kendall Marshall, all from North Carolina, have won the Cousy Award as the nation's best point guard. Paige still scoreless tonight.
And also still controlling that defensive backboard. Really impressed with him here early on. Paige using the screen, not able to hit. Long rebound is kept alive. See John Calipari not pleased with that call. 9:20 remaining in this first half. Paige, played by Ulis, who got picked off by Johnson. And the ball is deflected out with his lead. Paulie Stein has had a solid game. Paige handles against Ulis. There's Paige for 3. Yes. So he has hit.
That was the car there. Comes over and gets that one. But again, even still, I do like how Carolina is executing here, taking much better care of the basketball, playing a lot more forceful as they fight to get back in this game.
Off with a very difficult schedule following today. They play UCLA and then at Louisville.
I cannot wait for that Louisville game. And Kentucky has heated a rivalry as we have.
American Conference, their first year in that league. Way off the mark. Johnson clears it. If you're new to the American Conference, pretty impressive slate of teams, including the defending champion UConn Huskies, Memphis, Cincinnati.
They're going to run good stuff. Right now, they've got a young team, maybe not necessarily the talent to be able to pull it off, but he's had a good thing going at East Carolina over the last 2 years.
Nice floater thrown up. So what you're saying is it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to do it.
It's going to be Keystone Cops at some point. Everybody's going to have 5 guys laying on the ground in one wet spot.
You don't want a 5-car pileup on the floor.
I help my teammates up, but I'm going to take my time getting over it. I'm not spraying.
Paige around the screen. Paige gliding to the hole.
Great year. They do a phenomenal job with shot selection. Bo Ryan has been incredible over in Madison. That place will be electric.
It's part of our journey to the tourney presented by Sonic. There's with the drives Paige can make. You know he's capable of making the out.
Got good skill levels, shooting the ball, passing the ball. She's got to be a little more assertive offensively. Big play right there.
Answer right.
Robinson almost went with that three. Now gets it in low and has it stolen away. Good defense by Justin Jackson to get the steal. Paige. Frazier cleared. Scooping it up. Finney Smith. Horford again. Not there. Benson the rebound, North Carolina. Jackson passes inside. Hicks back out to Jackson. Paige with 5 on the shot clock, knocked away. And you know that has to drive Steve Alford.
One of the best free throw shooters of all time, but they were really bad from the line yesterday against Oklahoma.
Biggest lead, UCLA by 4. Paige guarded by Alford. Gets the screen from James, pulls up top of the key. Hamilton clears.
Center of that USC UTEP kerfuffle we saw here at the Atlantis last year. Originally committed to UTEP, backed out of his letter. Now UCLA, sat out for a year. Talented kid.
Paige scoops and scores. Minutes he would get tonight with the 6'10" freshman from Hungary, putting that one through in his first shot attempt. And comes though, but then you look and Steve Alford is in his 24th year as a head coach. Paige again.
And they're back on top.
Well, and that's a big basket for Butler, not just because it gives them the lead, but now it can pull big guys a little bit further away from the basket and you can attack the rim.
Into the game now for Carolina. Theo Pinson, another member of the very talented freshman class. Meeks has returned. Isaiah Hicks is in the game as well. Paige will launch and hit. Paige for 3. Jackson with a rebound. Well, a great start for a league that, of course, has changed and bears very little resemblance to the league that it used to be just 4 or 5 short years ago. But a great start for the Big East this season.
This has not been a pretty game. There have been a lot of missed shots. But Butler has dominated the glass in this game. It's been remarkable.
Hicks is fouled and will hit here. Paige is swarming him. He'll force it up.
With the lead and possession. Andrew McAuliffe, a 6'8" sophomore from suburban Chicago, is on the floor for Davidson, trying to defend Kennedy Meeks, who returns for UNC. Paige a bluff, moves in on Kalinowski, regains the handle, soars in, a little short on the reverse. And the rebound kept alive. Theo brought great energy to the floor for the Wildcats in the second half.
Eku's a tough player on the defensive end, and he's the one guy that needs to be out there because he can defend some of the Tar Heels bigs inside.
Right now he's trying to body up against Hicks on the inside. 8.5 to go. And here's Paige driving in high off the glass. Just came out. The tip will go in. And was that Meeks? It was Meeks. The extra pass locating Paige. A little bit short, but somehow squirts right back to Paige again. And this will wind up being about a 1-minute possession. Paige for 3.
I tell you, he's tough. You give him a look like...
We with Avaya, Avaya.com. To learn more, Carolina gets a steal on the inbounds. Tar Heels up 9-0. Johnson, front court to Jackson, who just punch passes it to Paige in the left corner. He dribbles up to the wing, misses the shot. But there's Justin Jackson for the stick back in his first 2. He'll push it out to Paige. Let's see if Carolina can get moving here. Up by 10, but a little bogged down offensively. Paige behind his back dribble into traffic, lost the basketball. McDonald's stroke is awfully good looking. Jackson with the rebound. Carolina the other way. Jill Berry back in, has it front court around the perimeter. It works to Paige. Paige tried to pass it to Berry. Poor pass taken